Hi everyone, Janie here, and from the changes in the weather, it looks like fall is approaching, and that just happens to be my favorite time of year. So I thought I would make an autumn themed card. And to get started, I'm doing some ink blending using my Distress Oxide Inks, and the colors that I'm using are Fossilized Amber, Peeled Paint, Wild Honey, Spiced Marmalade, and Carved Pumpkin. And right now, this may look a little odd if you were thinking that this is going to be the background piece for the top of my card, but it's not. This will be layered behind the top layer because I'm going to be using these Coca Rosa dies from Inlovearts to create the top layer. And this beautiful die set is called Autumn Word with Leaves Cutting Dies. And you'll see here in a little bit that these dies do not cut out the complete leaf. And here is my finished layer. Next, I'm going to start working on the top layer using those same Distress Oxides and a little spritz of water and an old toothbrush to create splatters. When creating splatters, I'm not looking for perfection. I am looking for a random, organic look. And normally I would have used a fan paintbrush to do this, but since I have no idea where most of my things are at this time, I thought I'd give a toothbrush a try, and actually I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And because it's a little wet, I used my heat gun to help it dry a little faster. And while I'm waiting for that to completely dry, I'm going to be using my Sizzix Big Shot Switch Plus to die cut the word Autumn from this copper foil cardstock. That piece of cardstock is actually going to be the bottom layer of this card, so no one is going to see that I die cut something out of the center. And honestly, I was totally surprised that the word autumn cut out so perfectly because usually I have a little trouble with intricate dies or dies that have thin, delicate writing. And talking about thin and delicate, I cut that word out 2 more times from white cardstock, and I'm going to be layering all 3 of those together just to make it a little sturdier and create a little dimension. And while I still have my Sizzix sitting here, I'm going to use it to cut the leaves from the top layer of the card. And as you saw, I had put the word autumn down to help me line up where I was cutting out the leaves. And now you're going to see what I was talking about when I said that they don't cut out the entire shape of the leaf. They just cut the leaf into the cardstock. And again, I am totally pleased with how beautifully these cut. All of those little pieces just pop right out on their own. And this is what it's going to look like when I layer it over the other piece. And to do that, I'm using spray adhesive to make sure that all of the pieces of the leaves adhere completely. I could have just used my Zig 2-way glue pen over those parts and then my Beacon 3-in-1 glue for the rest of it, but sometimes I just like to use spray adhesive. But talking about my Zig 2-way glue pen, that's what I'm using to glue the layers of the word autumn together. I really like my Zig 2-way glue pen for things like this. It makes it easy to just basically trace over the back of the word without having to worry about any glue oozing out over the edges. And then once I get all 3 of these glued together, the word is now sturdy like a thin piece of chipboard. Okay, now it's time to start putting the card together layer by layer. And I believe I forgot to tell you that this is an A2 size card, just in case you were wondering. And now that I have everything layered together, I decided to use an old punch that I have and punched out a few leaves from the copper foil cardstock, and I used 3D foam squares to pop them up on my card for a little added dimension. I like adding a little dimension here and there, and this wasn't enough to cause any mailing issues. And here's my finished card, and I would love to know what you think below in the comments. In fact, I would also like to know what your favorite season is and why. And if you like the die set that I used from Inlovearts, I'll have a link to that below in the description box, as well as a 25% off discount code should you decide to shop there. And I'll also have links to some of the other products that I used. Thank you all so much for stopping by, and happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.